rethinking your strategy toward this executive order? What's your next step in pushing?
We're not rethinking the strategy at all. I think the court has asked both parties to present their cases. Remember, what we're discussing right now has nothing to do with the merits of the order. The law is very clear on this, that the president has huge discretion to protect the safety of the American people and our nation's institutions with respect to who can come into this country. This is just purely on the injunction that the judge issued, and I think that we're going to make that case tonight, or he's got those, both sides have put forward their rulings.
Jihadis were now pouring into the country. Is there any evidence to suggest that that's true?
This is, when you look at the case in Massachusetts, or the judge in Massachusetts, clearly the law is on the president's side, the Constitution's on the president's side. He has broad discretion to do what's in the nation's best interest to protect our people, and we feel very confident that we will prevail in this matter.
Was, obviously a major figure in the Bush administration who...
Right. Once we win the case, it'll go right back into action. We're complying with the court. Once we prevail, it'll go right back into action.
Okay.
And again, part of that plan was a 90-day and 100-day plan, respectively, with respect to refugees and then people coming in, to make sure that we took the steps and developed a further plan to protect the country. Whether we add people or go more stringently in other aspects is up to part of what is determined during that period. Well, I think that I think the president's comments were very clear at the time. He felt as though members of the media don't always cover some of those events to the extent that other events might get covered. That a protest will get blown out of the water, and yet an attack or a foiled attack doesn't necessarily get the same coverage. He's doing what he can to protect this nation, to protect our people, and that's why I think sometimes the polls don't reflect what you see on the media. You see a wide degree of support for the president's policies to protect this country, to create jobs, to grow the economy, and yet a lot of those stories and successes that he's had in a mere 2.5 weeks in office aren't exactly covered to the degree to which they should be.
So I call my own shots. Was he referring to Steve Bannon's role in the White House?
There was nothing specific, but I think the president, there's been a lot of attempts to discuss how this works. The president's, from the day one, back through the campaign, and frankly, his time as a successful businessman, always called the shots. He's the decider. He's the one who develops the policy. He's the one who makes the decisions. And I think that there's so many times when you see things that don't recognize that he is the guy that calls those shots. He develops the policies. He implements the policies. He makes the key decisions.
Extreme vetting of refugees. Is there a plan to reinstate it?
Well, he's very clear that he has named Vice President Pence to lead a task force that will look into this. But obviously, when you see so many people that have registered in 2 states, that presents a problem. There are people that have registered in 2 states, have been died, and been still on the rolls. I think we need to look into this to make sure that we're protecting the integrity of the vote, that one person's vote should count the same as the next. And any attempt to undermine that really undermines anyone else's vote right now. And that's the problem, is that we need to make sure that when somebody votes that we have the highest degree of integrity of that county.
Thanks, Sean.